All right, today we are going to be jumping back into the Bitcoin price action, talking about what we need to be watching out for and why my case remains the same, and I do believe the start of the altcoin season is upon us. But before we do get into that, I was reached out by somebody at BingX to do a partnership. I accepted the partnership because I do know BingX is a very trusted exchange, and I use them myself. My favorite feature about the exchange is that you can actually trade using their APY straight off of TradingView. So as we can see here, if you're just looking at TradingView, you'll see this like kind of arrow down here at the bottom where you have your strategy tester and the trading panel, all that. You'll see all these supported brokers from TradingView, and if you click see all brokers, you will see BingX right here. It's one of the few non-KYC exchanges that you actually can trade directly off TradingView with. So you'll go ahead, click this, sign up to your account. I'm already logged in, so it'll just go straight to it, and then you'll want to click trade. And what you'll want to do is actually go to the Bitcoin pair that is on BingX. So go ahead, click on BingX over here, and then you are all set up to take trades directly off of TradingView. So this is a really cool feature that they have. I usually just look at my phone though, so I don't have to obstruct my monitors with all the charts on them. So this doesn't really apply to me, but I do actually use their exchange for spot pairs as well, because they do have a lot of spot listings on their exchange. Not only that, but you can actually trade TradFi on their exchange too. So if you want to trade stocks or gold, you can actually do that on BingX, and that is another really awesome feature that they have. So I'm glad to be partnered with them. Just like Blowfin, I'm not just shouting them out because they reached out to me. I personally use them myself, and I did do my own research and making sure they were a secure exchange. But as always, not your keys, not your crypto. You technically do not have custody to anything on an exchange. So I got to throw that out there, because even the biggest of exchanges can go under. Just look at something like FTX. But I do really like them. And if you want to go ahead and support the channel, use my link in the description down below to sign up. Basically, instead of all the fees you pay going to the exchange, I take half of that as a referral bonus. So that is how that works. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into the Bitcoin price action. We can see currently right now we are still struggling with this daily EMA. This is a level I do not want to see broken. Historically, we have always held the daily EMA during a bull market cycle. If we go ahead and look back at the 2021 cycle, you can see that this daily EMA was not broken throughout the entirety of the bull run, excluding down here at the very lows where we did deviate under. And on a fractal basis, we are just not this early in the cycle. In my opinion, we are already this high up, and we are witnessing this corrective phase in the markets right now. But something to note, when we fractaled this range back here in 2021, we never broke that daily EMA. Whereas in 2024, we actually did go ahead and deviate this daily EMA when we did have this corrective phase during that grayscale ETF. So we've already shown that we don't technically need to stay above it the entire time, but we have already deviated it once, gotten back above. Now I feel like we do want to actually flip this into support. And more than that, structurally, we want to be holding our higher lows on the macro within here. So we don't want this low to get broken within here, and the majority of your liquidity is actually sitting above this level. So we definitely do not have a reason to actually start closing down here unless Bitcoin is truly bearish. But because we do have that liquidity, we got that sweep level. If we were to swing fail this level, just to grab any long positions that are in the market right now before heading up, that would be a very Bitcoin thing to do, and it wouldn't be the end of the world. But any lows below here need to be wicks, they need to be swing failure patterns, and we do not want to be closing candles under where we are right now. And preferably, I actually don't want this to get broken. It was a nice failed auction, and structurally, what does this look like? It looks like a double bottom. So I would not be surprised at all if this is in fact our low. If we pull our fibs, swing low, swing high, we did get all the way down to the 886, which is the mathematical level in which most liquidity will be grabbed of positions that were entered in at the golden pocket. And as you can see, we spent a lot of time within this golden pocket. So coming down to that 886 to grab that before heading up mathematically makes some sense. You can see we're also holding our monthly volume range value area low. That's this yellow line that is coming across here. Perfect backtest on this level signals that price is likely to hunt for the value area high, which is sitting all the way up here. And a move up to that level is almost guaranteed to squeeze the liquidity that has been generated up here at the sweep level. So this is something we're going to be watching for. Do we swing fail at the sweep level, get back under value area high, rejecting this level, signaling lower, or are we going to go ahead and actually start closing above and testing that back into support? We also have big point of control here, so don't worry if we do come up and come back down into the point of control. As long as we are holding this volume within here after coming back up, that is all good. But these are some levels we want to be watching out for. Volume levels are the most important levels on the chart, so this can be big resistance and support, as well as this level. Up here we got volume, as well as right here we got volume. So we want to be watching out for all of these levels to see how price is going to react. Are we going to reject or accept and flip into support? And I fully expect the latter. My base case remains the same. I do believe we are going to squeeze up to all-time highs relatively soon here. This is where most of your liquidity is sitting. We have poor highs up there. 74, 75K remains the target before I do think a possible top could come in, even if we are going to play out a more bearish scenario and we are already in distribution. I don't think it's likely to roll over now. We have a lot of shorts in the market. We have a lot of bears in the market. This is normally not the type of sentiment you see before price rolls over. It's usually the type of sentiment you see before a massive squeeze to the upside. Looking over here on Trading Light now, these are all of the sweep levels we had identified on my live stream. These yellow dashed lines heading over here. We have invalidated this one and this one, but we are getting back above. And if this were to start closing candles back above, that could certainly qualify for a swing failure pattern on a daily time frame. So that would be awesome to see, and I do actually expect it to happen. So let's see if we can have price closing the day up here. We got a couple hours left until that daily close actually does happen. And as long as we can see that, that gives even more validity to this double bottom playing out and this low actually holding in here, and for the chances of us actually having this secondary sweep down here less likely. We do see large walls in the order books looking for that secondary sweep, or these could potentially just be spoof walls, a couple thousand Bitcoin within this range here. It's actually probably more than a couple thousand Bitcoin if we're looking all the way down to 74K or so. This is a large amount of leverage long positions being limited into the order book here on Binance. Whereas to the upside, we certainly do not see that selling pressure within the order books. And looking at our order flow as in open interest versus CVD, what direction our position is opening. And we do see CVD dropping with open interest opening at this low we just made, equating to our net shorts going up on our aggregated exchanges, meaning majority of people are shorting the lows right now. And price certainly is not accepting lower, making a higher low and bouncing off this level tells me a short squeeze is imminent. You can see open interest is starting to roll over now. So as this comes down, shorts will be squeezed to the upside. And what is nice to see is we are not only seeing shorts beginning to get squeezed, but we are seeing longs opening in the order books, equating to bullish continuation. And let's go ahead and talk about the altcoin market real quick. We can see we're making a nice quad bottom here on total 3, aka a double bottom on the 4-hour time frame. And this is a very nice structure to set us up to launch back out of this range after sweeping our liquidity down here. We swept the poor lows. Now getting back above and forming this bullish structure indicates to me, I believe that's likely. I think we're going to skyrocket to the upside. Is it going to look exactly like that line I just drew? Well, probably not, but you get the point. I do believe we are finally going to go ahead, come up here and flip this swing high, swing low, golden pocket back into support that we have not been able to do previously. I do think we're finally going to do it. We're finally going to get back up here, and on this third tap of that golden pocket, it is much more likely that you are actually to accept it now. And I do believe this is where you do see everything in the altcoin market just go violently higher. Lastly, we'll check out the dollar and S&P. Starting with the dollar here, you can see we have come up here holding this range high very nicely on the daily time frame. But do I expect this to just continue on up here? And well, probably not. I mean, we are starting to form a topping structure here, although it is very indecisive on which direction this wants to go. I would bet down because we are talking about these lows and how these were some bad lows in here. I do believe we are still going to hunt lower within here, so we'll just have to wait and see on that. But this is something to be watching closely. Are we going to roll over now? Are we going to just grab this then roll over? These highs back here, these are actually poor, just like we had these down here, so that actually makes sense. Let's go ahead, grab this, and then we can do full rotation back down. But the dollar is certainly something we want to be watching because in the short term here, it's very indecisive. Is it bullish? Is it bearish? I can't really tell you, but I would not be surprised if we do go ahead and grab that before heading lower, because we do have these kind of poor highs appear just like we had the poor highs at the lows. That just makes sense on a liquidity basis, but that's just using my kind of Bitcoin TA on it. I have not studied the dollar enough on a liquidity basis to know if it needs to grab this stuff. I just know it does respect ranges, so as long as we can get back under this range and not actually flip it into support, that was what we want to see for our risk on assets. And until that happens, we still need to be cautious. We want to be making sure this does not just head up here, because I will admit on the weekly time frame, I mean, you're holding the weekly EMA, you have backtested this entire range as support, and the dollar does look very bullish on the weekly time frame. And for all of this year and last year, the dollar has been 100% inversely correlated with risk on assets. So I would not want to see this actually be bullish and start coming up here and making new highs. But like I said, none of that's a guarantee. We did see during the dot-com bubble the dollar run with risk on assets. And finally, the S&P is still just at the all-time highs. If we look at a daily time frame, this thing is forming a blow-off top. Do I think the blow-off top is over quite yet? Well, on our daily time frame, we have broken our bearish divergences. On the weekly time frame, we have also broken these bearish divergences to the upside, which tells me a squeeze higher is likely. Just look at your money flow and waves on Market Cipher. If we go ahead and look at our US market so we can get a wider time frame on this thing, go to a monthly time frame in here, you can see this monthly bearish divergence is now starting to get broken as well, and I think a break of this level will make a lot of bearish capitulate. But I will certainly say we have not validated this as a break yet. We are certainly still right up on this bearitive trend on our monthly time frame. Technically, we haven't even really hit it on the US markets yet. If we do go back to futures though, on a monthly time frame, I think we have actually gone ahead and broken this monthly div right now. You can see, I guess not broken it, but we are right up against it, starting to break it for sure. You can see we're coming out of this macro bearish divergence, which is something I've been warning about in my videos, talking about how we are about to enter the next Great Depression. But before you do enter depressions, what do you normally have? Well, you have massive blow-off tops in risk on assets, and the fact that we have not seen the expansion yet into those risk on assets, and we are seeing the S&P start breaking out of this trend here, I would not be surprised to see a massive capitulation in the bears, a squeeze up higher using those shorts as fuel until we get max euphoria from retail, which will finally mark the tops around when the Fed cuts, in my opinion. But with that being said, if you have any questions about anything I talked about in this video, or just want to join the community for this channel, link to my Discord is in the description down below. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.